So I finished this fabric covered journal, and I will do a flip through on that at the end because I'm really interested in starting this in front of you. And I have another one that has these pretty fabrics that I'm going to try to do too. So let's see what we can get done here. I already picked out my colors and my pages and told myself this is what I have to do. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to bring it back and I'm going to put this aside. So that's my insides, and I'm using a file folder. It's traveler size. I made a whole bunch of them so that I could be ready to go when I was feeling that creative mood. What I want to do is cover this, and I'm trying to decide. I haven't decided if I'm going to do this whole thing. So we're going to do the same thing as we did before, but I am not going to put batting in between. I'm going to try to do this an easier way because, well, I don't know if it's an easier way, but it's a different way. So you can watch my other video, and if that way works for you, then that's great. And if this way works better for you, then that's even better, right? Okay, so now I'm going to take and cut all around about 1.5 inches or so. And I'm going to cut it so that it doesn't fray as much. And it's really zoomed in, and I wished it wasn't because now you can see all my spots, but I did get my nails done today. Bonus, right? Now, I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use my fancy clips, and my clips that Suzanne gave me. I think the other one's already hooked on a journal. I just want to hold it down so that when I start sewing. Now, I'm going to try something different here too. Instead of cutting the corners, I'm going to fold it over and then do this. And then I should get my clips that I sew with. They're down with my sewing stuff. Or you don't have to use these. You can do a couple of things. See, you can also use clothespins. Some people don't even know what those are. Or just keep doing the clips. So I don't want to run around looking for everything. I had to clean up my craft room today. I wished I could name my craft room something besides craft room. It just seems too boring to call it that. The fun place? I don't know. No, that doesn't strike me either. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew all the way around the edge. And I want to see, I don't want to, I'm not going to glue it this time. So I'm going to sew. I'm using a thicker thread than I would for sewing. I don't know if it's upholstery. I think it's buttonhole thread actually. And I'm going to use a 3.5 stitch length. And I'm going to turn this over because my sewing machine doesn't like to sew through all this cardboard type stuff. It messes up the stitches. They're not to my liking. So the first thing I like to do is get out the pieces that I envision being on this fabric covered journal. They could be lace, they could be decals, they could be um, this little thing that I got somewhere that has been tucked away. And then there's this little piece of like a bedspread. And I got this at that retreat. And let me show you where I got it from. This is the place that the tag was inside the bag. So I want to give them credit. Now, as far as what I'm going to do with it, I really wanted to keep it forever because it was so pretty. But this spot right on the top is where I felt like it was the best place for it. Before I move this down, hopefully, because I am doing a voiceover, I decided I need to sometimes get the excess trims in fabric away from the project because it kind of messes with my creativity. I bought this, and I've had this for a while, this lace. Even before I started doing journals, I started collecting laces and different pieces of ephemera and old pieces, and I just really was loving them, but I didn't know what I would do with them. And thankfully, now I can find a place for them. Usually I can find a place. With this piece right here, I didn't want to change the thread in my sewing machine and go back and forth, and I wanted to still make it work without having to do that. So cutting off the edges, it's starting to feel like it belongs there. I also have that little dotted Swiss down in the corner that I really love over top of the polka dots. So I'm going to arrange these the way that I want to see them sewn down or glued down, because I do both. Sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes some people like to glue the whole thing down and then sew, and I've done that before. I may have even done that in the last video with the fabric cover journal that I made, but it gums up my needle in my sewing machine, and it just kind of wreaks havoc for me. So if I can get away with gluing it, plus I just got my nails done, and it always ruins my nails, then I try to get away with it. So I've got this black velvet, and black velvet, oddly enough, at Hobby Lobby, when the fabric goes on sale, I got this piece of black velvet, which is normally pretty expensive. I got 1/4 of a yard, and it's longer than your standard 43-inch fabric. I believe that I paid something like, I don't know if I want to say like, I don't know, $5 or $6 for. And that 1/4 of a yard is going to go really far because I don't use black velvet that often, but I wanted to use it on this journal. Now, I am going to try to put my gloves on now, and remember to put them on because I am going to do a little bit of gluing here, and otherwise I don't know how people manage to glue and still have pretty nails, because I can't do it. So I glue this on, and I glue this it's an applique that I actually got that at Hobby Lobby too. I've had it for a while. It's in the bridal section of trim, and I glue some of it down because I don't want to. I also did some sewing. I sewed around a little bit the bottom. I'm going to go in with the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew where I just pointed, so that way it will hold itself. And then I will continue to play around with this ensemble of fabrics and laces and trims until it seems to work together. Now, again, where I can get away with gluing, I'm going to glue. And that piece right there, I don't know what we want to call it. I really wanted to use it no matter what. So I got my top finished, but I did not finish recording it. The phone gave me a hard time. So I moved on to the next step, but you'll see that when I do the flip through. Right here, I'm doing the inside cover. And the inside cover is pretty standard. You know, you just measure, put your paper. I make a little dot where I want to cut it, and then I cut it to the width and then the length, and test it out on my cover to make sure it's where I want. I decide, do I want to have some of the cover showing, or do I want it to go flush? And sometimes I don't even get my way, because by the time I get done sewing, the cover ends up being bigger or smaller. So I do my best to make it perfectly imperfect. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just cutting and using my good old trimmer that does need a new blade. Someday maybe I'll get that new blade, but it's the We Are Us, I think it's called, and it's pretty good. It's got the grooves for when you want to put grooves in things. Oh, there's my cover. Yeah, see, it's finished. And now it just needs to have this paper glued down, and it needs to be glued heavily. And I stress heavily, because I started gluing and I thought I glued pretty heavily. And you have to test it, of course. You put your glue in all around, and then you, when you put your paper down, usually use a bone folder, or use either the back of the scissors, or you can use a ruler. Just press down really well. Sometimes I even leave it overnight. And around the edges, it didn't want to glue, didn't want to adhere. So test that out, because you don't want to do all this work and have it not adhere well for you. So lots and lots of glue and pressure all around the edges, and you'll do fine. So now this one is done. I will sew in the signatures, and I'll put it together and do a flip through at the end. So let's move to the next one. Here are some of the colors, and let's go. So this fabric covered journal, I'm going to be doing it a little bit different, because I don't seem to make two journals that are the same. Sometimes I get my signatures and I decide what I'm going to do for a cover, and then sometimes I do the opposite. Usually when I'm in the store, like for this, I saw this mushroom fabric, and then I started looking for coordinating pieces at the store, and then when I came home, I shopped in my room and found coordinating pieces. I start playing around when I'm beginning the process, deciding, do I want this to be my entire cover, or do I want it to be pieced? So for this, I decide that I'm going to do one little section at a time, placing it on the file folder that's already pre-cut to the size of the signatures. That's one reason why I would do the signatures first, is to then see what size file folder or what size cover that I'm going to need. So placing this on the file folder and then placing coordinating colors is how I begin to build this journal cover. So you can use strictly fabrics, and sometimes when I'm creating, I will decide, put that as, I'll stop what I'm doing and then I'll go to a different section if I'm not liking what I'm looking at, but I don't hate it. So this is what I did here. I decided that will be my back cover, and I like it when I can make a decision and then it feels right after I've made that decision, because sometimes being creative is a little work, because this is what I do. I see the fabrics and I just like fireworks. This fabric, this goes with this and this goes with that, and then I get really excited, and then when I get them all together at home, then if I'm going to do a cover, I go, wait, I feel like they're missing something. They need something more. But I didn't really feel that when I was in the store. It was almost like they were all going to just, those 3 fabrics were just going to work together. 4, actually. I think I got 4. And so what I end up doing here is just going a whole different route, which then turns into, do I like it? Do I not? I don't know if I like that. And there comes in that phrase, trust the process, Joanne, trust the process. That means, this is what trust the process means. It means it looks really crappy right now, but just keep going. Just keep going with it, because in the end, it's going to look good. So this is what I'm doing. I am deciding that I'm going to make this into almost like a patchwork thing. So I'm doing this video without music because somebody made a comment that they didn't like the music. Well, only one person made the comment, but still, I'm going to see if that person watches this video and if that person appreciates this video. We'll see. If that person doesn't, then maybe from now on I will put a little bit of music in, because sometimes I don't even like to hear my own voice. All right, so somebody once said something really nice about my voice, and I truly appreciated it. But I don't know too many people who like their own voice when they listen back. So I've picked this little fabric roll up before I sign off, and it's like a little soft corduroy piece, and those colors feel like they really match. And I'm doing a voiceover, and it's kind of a funny thing when you're doing a voiceover, because it's like I'm watching somebody else do this project, and I want to say, okay, use that. That looks good. Yeah, I like that. Don't change that. That looks good right there. Because actually, that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking that lace piece on the top, I'm thinking that looks good right there, so leave it. And I have this other mushroom fabric that I want to put in somewhere because it's really cute. It's got some nice colors in it. I don't know if it's coming across the screen. On my little screen, I don't appreciate it as much. But when I watch it on the TV, I can see better colors. When I watch my videos on TV, I see the better colors than I do on my phone. All videos that people make, mine included, of course, because I have to show mine to my granddaughter and sometimes my grandsons. So I'm changing things around, and I think I liked them the way they were, but I changed them around. So keeping up, when somebody's watching this video. I hope somebody makes one while they're watching me, because I do that sometimes. I put videos on and then I just go and make my journals because I like watching other people do their journals, and what they're doing, all of a sudden I'll start incorporating it in mine. And it's not copying because I'm not doing the exact same thing. It's like their idea sparks an idea in me. And isn't that why? That's why I do videos, because I'm hoping that somebody can watch it and then say, oh yeah, that's great, I'd love to try that, I want to do that, and they could even make it even better than mine, and probably do. But I watch videos while I'm working on my stuff. All right, I said I was going to sign off, but I bought this too, and this little stripy cotton fabric thing, I wanted to use that so bad because I bought that at the same time that I bought that black mushroom fabric, and I just wanted them to work together. But honestly, I'm not sure if they really did. You'll see in the end. But I'm just trying my hardest to make this one work, because I thought they looked good together originally. But that's not always the case. So working it, that's what I'm doing. I'm working it. Okay, so I mean, I don't always like watching videos that are sped up, because I don't know if it gets me dizzy, if that's the word, but I don't know, it takes something out of the creativity for me. So I'll just be quiet if I can. It's hard for me to be quiet. I'll just be quiet while I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Let's see. Yeah, it's feeling too boring. It's too quiet for me. Um, well, I end up changing it anyway. So I pieced it all together and I started sewing it down with different stitches, almost using the crazy quilt method. And the crazy quilt method, from what I know of it, is just piecing things together haphazardly and then putting decorative stitches on the seams like I'm doing here. Coordinate your colors and look at your stitches and see if any of the stitches on your machine make sense to use. I have this little piece of fabric here that I just wanted to put on. So I just make sure that everything is sewn down. I didn't use glue on this. Everything has to be sewn down with stitches, and then we will put the inside page on. Got the cover finished. Now I'm going to use this for my lining. So I'm going to glue the back of this, and then I'll sew it. And I'm going to try to glue on the inside where I'm not going to sew, just so that it will be a little bit easier when I go around with my sewing machine. I mean, some places I'm going to have to glue down, I think. Like this has given me a little trouble. I use the straight edge of this scrapbook paper so that at least I know two sides are going to be pretty straight. Take a little clip hold that down. Now this is a little bit, I don't know if it's for me or if it's how I glued it. It looks like it's a little tiny bit off there. That's okay. I make journals perfectly imperfect. If I wanted to make it, I could take, this is the back. So what I can do is sew a piece of something on here. Glue it down. Like this. There we go. Cut that off. Now I'm ready to take this to the sewing machine again and go all the way around the edge just to finish off the edge. And make sure I give this a fold so that my journal signature will fit in there nicely. That can be taken off. This can be done later, but now I'll do that. I'll sew this. Okay, that was a funny transition, but I just thought it was beautiful and wanted to show you. So this is the last journal. The other one, I had to stop and put the signature in. And putting the signatures in is better left off camera. This fabric, oh, I loved this fabric. I wasn't sure if I wanted to cover up this fabric because I just thought it was so pretty. And really, it wasn't the best fabric for a journal cover as far as sewing goes because the fabric is on the bias, which means that it's very stretchy. And I only had a small amount of this fabric, so it's like wiggly and stretchy. So when you try to sew it, it wants to move. And it doesn't want to stay underneath of the thread. It wants to move where it wants to go. So I really had to work with it. But it was worth it. I think in the end you'll agree. And if you do, hit the thumbs up, the like button, share it with friends, the notification bell, you know, all that YouTube stuff. Look at this. The colors, I don't know, they're just like my favorite colors. I always say pink's my favorite, but this combination I love too. So I'm using my clips, and I am not gluing this. I did all 3 fabric journals differently. I have my vitamin water. This is a voiceover because I was watching some crazy TV show while I was doing this, which I wasn't even watching, so, but it was a noisy night. It was torrential rains outside, and my daughter got all excited and was yelling, "Mom, come see this, come see this." And I was like, I'm in the middle of doing this. I'm in the middle of this. Come out here and see this rain. So what I ended up doing was having to voice over. So I'm taking these corners and doing that same thing, just folding them in on themselves, keeping it as smooth as possible. So I'm going to fast forward over this part because you already seen that in the other one, and I'm sure you get the idea of this. Well, it's getting late, but I still want to work on this. And I want to use this linen because it's got this really pretty embroidered, hand embroidered in the corner, and then it's got that, I don't know what that is, those little holes on the side. I wanted to have them be part of the lining too. And the only way that I could do that without cutting it off is to, I call it accordion it, just folding it down like that. And then I'm thinking it could be a little place to tuck things too. So I settled on that, and I'm glad that I did, because it fit in. I had to do a little stretching, but it fit in really nicely. So I'm just going to clip it down, and then I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine, and then the lining will be done just like that. No fussing. So as much as I really wanted to just leave the fabric and let it speak for itself, I don't know if it would be considered too plain for some people. So I want to sell this on eBay, Brad's Boots at eBay. And the name of it is Brad's Boots at eBay on, oh no, wait a minute. Brad's Boots eBay Burgundy Rose. But I feel like I did find some really pretty trims and things to complement it. So I don't feel like it took away from the fabric. I hope it adds to it. If you agree, what do you think? A thumbs up or something? Just to maybe a comment. I wanted to put this fabric because I liked it. I thought it went well. But I should have just put the cover down because it was really late, and gave it some more time, because I might have put it in like tomorrow if I had have not tried to get it done. I have this thing when I start something, I like to finish it, which is a good thing when you're making journals and doing things, but sometimes you can really push yourself. Well, I can really push myself because I have that kind of a thought. It stems from my husband. He's a procrastinator, so I'm the opposite. But I put that on top of the velvet, and then I kind of felt like it was taking too much away from the velvet. And then I found this other piece of velvet, but I didn't think that worked.
I really hope people are still watching and they're still hanging in there with me because I got so excited about these 3 journals. And I'm going to do a flip through pretty soon of all 3 of them. But I just, when you get excited and you want to just share it, I hope that somebody else is enjoying the videos. Not because of me, but because of um, what I came up with. Um, this was the best. I bought this at not Joann's, Hobby Lobby in the bridal section, and it was pretty pricey. But I only bought, I think, a quarter of a yard. I think I spent about $10, and I still have plenty left. I put this on there, and I feel like it just tied it all in together. Now I showed my daughter the journal, and she said, "Oh, it's so fancy on the outside, but it's not as fancy on the inside." I don't know if she knows, if she is a junk journal expert. I'm not saying I am. But I did spruce up the inside after she mentioned that. I did a lot of sewing and adding more color to the inside. So if you like the inside of that one, um, you know, if you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. I think it came out good. I'm not trying to be blowing my own horn, but I just think this is really pretty. So I am going to let that dry, and thankfully I managed not to get glue all over the place. And then I'm putting the signatures in. It's really late at this point, and that piece right there I have an idea for. I I really needed to stop at this point because I was really tired. I was almost going to go on with my signatures and start sewing them in, but my body was like, you need to stop. And then I looked at the clock.
This journal, I loved the fabric so much. I wanted the fabric to speak for itself. And then I decided to add a little something to it. So, just a little something. This is just so pretty. Now this, I envision you putting your name right here, either embroidering it or putting your name on a label and gluing it right here. This really lovely linen. I have a couple more of those. I wanted to showcase this linen, so I did my best to do that and made it as a lining. Now, you'll notice that this has that waterfall effect. So all these pages I wanted to, let them peek out and present a different kind of signature. So we have all kinds of things. I went on a retreat, and we all brought things to give away or things that, we wanted to clean out our craft room. And this was in one of the things, and I think it was Christy that brought that, but I'm not sure. I know I took it from a pile. So I used my sewing machine stitches for some of this. Here's a little secret spot. And then I also did some modeling paste, a little here and there. Just a little bit of embroidery just to add that burgundy color, the burgundy red color in on the pages, and used some digitals that I had printed up a while back and just found a good spot for them right now. This is some French ledger that I purchased from somewhere on Etsy. Looks like it's 1951. This I covered up because I'm not a fan of little mice, but some people might be. Just in case, I covered it so that you can do whatever you want to do. You want to leave it, you leave it, or you cover it. Same thing with the kittens, but I think the kittens are less offensive than the mice, to some people anyway. So I just wanted to add a little color there. And a little pocket to put things in. These traveling journals are nice for that reason. You have your places to put your receipts and tickets that you have. And then this, I wanted to make this into an open flip out so that you could, whoop, don't, I gotta blow out that candle. So that you can read the whole thing and get the whole effect of the three bears. I just thought it was cute enough. It's really old. He's got a pipe, you know. Not a fan of that, but it's a really old book, so that's how it was back then. Some of the fairy tales were pretty scary. So I got a little creative with my sewing machine stitches and just decided to just use a bunch of them. And this is a page out of a college book that I used to have, that when you went to college, well, before you went to college, you picked out your classes out of books. And this is from 1997. And so it told you the name of the class and what it was going to go for. Like elementary Italian was going to go for general education. And then it told you like how many credits, and then it told you like the class number, and then you would call and you would put all these numbers in, and that's how you signed up for classes. Yeah, back in the day. It's so funny to hear that. I don't think there's any, I think I took Western Civ. And I definitely had to do basic math. And a few of them. Yeah, a lot of them. I have 3 degrees. So I just clipped this digital in here for a writing page. And I have this most beautiful antique linen. I mean, I don't even have to say antique. Probably most linens are antique these days. Maybe not, though. I sewed a couple buttons on, just again, bring in the red and the burgundy. And I like it to be poking out. And that's a cute little kitten. Beatrix Potter. And a little bit of modeling paste again. And there we have some more creative stitching. Hey, if you can't do it by hand, do it by your machine. You know, this is what I did over here. Out of my favorite golden book. And you could even tuck some things under there, some kind of documents from your trip if you use it for a traveler's journal. So there's the second one. And then I have my next daisy journal. I think I got this from the retreat too. Okay, so this daisy fabric cover has a little pocket. A little pocket for you to put whatever in. Maybe tickets or something. Maybe nothing. You decide. Okay, now we have a... Oh, that's not a flip. That's just me decorating. This is a little paper clipped in little tablet. And this paper, my new neighbor, she works for an Italian paper company, and she brought me over some paper from her company, and it's from Italy. And I left this sticker on there because I thought it was really interesting. I love it. So I love polka dots. Reminds me of Lucille Ball. Did that get glued in? No, that's okay. Another little golden book page. Now what's this? This is a pocket. Yep, that's a pocket. This, I got creative with my sewing machine, and I don't know, I just kind of got creative. That's all I can say. I got a nice little pocket in here, and I love this. It's going to come to me what this is, and now I can't remember. Begins with an M. Used to be my favorite. Oh, well. This inspired, I put this on Instagram. This was the cover that inspired this journal. Just this color always reminds me of daisies. Plus my Daisy Jane granddaughter. Okay, and we've got a pocket in here. And I was thinking I need to do a red journal for my grandson Jace. He loves Spider-Man. But I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. I don't know. The other side of that page. Some more creative sewing. And that fabric is just beautiful. There's a little pocket. And we have some more little tucks. This, I just loved this. And it's packaging, obviously. I bought some glasses, and I loved the glasses, and I lost them already. Oh my goodness. I'll find them. But not just yet. Paper bag. And a little creative tuck area. And some more writing. And this liner is beautiful as well. So it's been a long 2 or 3 days now, I think, of videoing and making these journals. And I did not do a flip through of the mushroom journal, but here are some pages. These are the ones that are on Bradsboots at eBay, the mushroom journal. And this is what they look like. If you're still with me and you're interested in a flip through, then let me know and I will do it. But unless I get requests for that, I'm just going to leave it at this, because I think there's a little percentage of people that are still with me. I hope there's a lot, but you never know, because it takes a lot to do these videos, and sometimes people only seem to stay on for a few minutes. I'm hoping you're still with me. So I'm tying up the Daisy journal, wrapping things up, and trying to think of a few more things. Hit the notification bell, share and like, you know, that YouTube stuff. And I will see you in the next video. And thanks for hanging out. And thanks for my new subscriber from Australia.